It's holiday time again. Hopefully soon. Easter holidays are coming up, aren't they, Tyler?
Yeah.
So, roof boxes. Apparently they're all the thing. I've never been a big roof box user, but a lot of people use them. They're pretty good. And people with Land Rover Defenders, you've got a lot of stuff. And if you've got a 90, you're a little deficient in space as well as being deficient in length. So, a lot of people want to use them. Now, we have had quite a few emails come in and says, Simon, I've got one of these Thule roof boxes, I've had it for years, and I've just gone to put it on my new Defender with the Expedition roof rack. So this is the factory Expedition roof rack, and it doesn't work. So I was like, what do you mean it doesn't work? It's a box, it goes on the top. What's the big deal there? You have a look. And basically, these roof boxes that we'll have a look, they have these little magic claw systems. And what they do is they go round and they clamp round a roof bar, which is fine in some ways, but not so fine in other ways. Right, so on the Expedition roof rack, you have a series of these slats that go along. But you'll notice that the contour of the roof box, I might be able to lift it up a little bit, look at that. Right, it's got a flat bit, then it goes up, and you can see the little claw. Now, these claws you can move along, they've got a clever mechanism, and you can move it. Now, what it's supposed to do is the cross rails on the roof rack, and this would work if you didn't have the Expedition roof rack and you just had the Land Rover cross rails, the two of them, you would sit one of them here and it would grab this, no problem, and it would sit on there and there. The problem with the Expedition rack is that, try as it might, it can't quite reach these. It's got little arms, it's like a little T-Rex, and it's trying to, and it can't quite reach them. So, someone says, a few people, we've had quite a few emails saying, can you come up with a solution? And we looked at various solutions, and in the end we've decided the best way of doing it is actually to identify which two beams you're going to do and to jack those up. And we've designed some spacer blocks. So let's go and have a look at what we've come up with. So here we have our spacer blocks. And what that does, it sits on the top. You take the bar off. We'll have a look how you take the bar off. The bar's normally down here. You take the bar off, you put that in its place, you fix it with a longer bolt, and we'll have a look at that, and you put the bar back on the top, and then it sits higher. So we are going to identify two bars, put them up there, and then we are going to put the spacers, lift them up, and bolt it down. So what we're going to see is the original bolts are these star pin. You didn't quite get the middle orange. We've got a little pin in the middle, so we need a star pin, and we've got to undo that. Now that is a star pin six-sided T30, Torx T30. And what that does is that sits in a little sliding nut that sits in the rail. So we're going to undo that, put the new one, and then we're going to take that off. We're going to put the spacer block on, and this bit here is the catcher. It's going to catch the nut. I'll show you here because it's sort of all black when we get up on the top there, and the nut is trapped in the rail and it will slide along, and you can actually move the positions of the rails if you like. So it's going to line up like that, and then you're going to get one of these longer bolts. You're going to position the bar on the top here. You're then going to, this bolt is then going to go through the bar, pass through the thing, and it's going to catch. And this tab here is so you can slide it and catch the bolt, because the bolt's a little bigger than my little square bolt. And then you tighten that down. And then that is and this little channel here presses against the sidewall to take any side loading. And that then just sits there, and this block is purely in compression. So that block just sits there in compression. The force is still transmitted down to the nut as per original mounting. And this bit on the side is just so that you don't see the grotty end of the bar. It's just a cosmetic plate at the end. So that is what we are gonna have a go at fitting. Right, but word of warning, the trickiest bit of this whole thing is taking these out, because Thule, that make the Expedition roof rack for Land Rover, they've put them in with some sort of Loctite-y stuff, so they are quite tricky. So be careful, and they do round off. So get yourself a nice new Torx T30 star pin driver bit, and even before you buy these from we'll put these for sale on our website, you may want to consider checking you can undo these first. Right, we are going to get on and we'll have a look on the roof. We'll take the roof box down and we'll come and show you. So you may want to position the roof rack on the roofs. So get the roof box on your roof and decide where you want it to go. So you want to look where the front bar is resting, whether you want it more forward, more backwards. I don't know. I mean, it's more cosmetic than anything. I think just for cosmeticness, I'm going to line the handle up roughly with this middle support here, so the weight is evenly distributed. So we need to undo this one here, okay, and the second one, that's right, you stay up there, Tyler, and then we need to undo that one there. So Tyler and I will lift the roof box down now, and just if you want to do the same, I guess your roof, but it's from the middle, 1, 2, from the middle, 1, 2. Right, I'm up on the roof. You shouldn't need to do this. It's more so I can film. So I'm going to film. I get all the glamorous jobs. How's that look, time? Right, and so let's have a look. So, apologies for my camera skills. Right, so we've identified our bars. So first thing we've got to do is lift up that little rubber trim to expose the fitting underneath. Now, yeah, and you can just peel that back a little bit. Have fun squidging it back in. And you can see there, Tyler's orangified the Torx T30 bolt for you. I've got that one, Tyler. He'll be all right. He'll keep out the way. So now you may want to use an impact driver. I'll show you one. But be careful. These can round. They are fixed in with thread lock. So we've got the impact driver there, and as you knock it, it gives a little impact loading, and make sure you're in. But we'll be all right. We've loosened these already. Yeah. I actually think we had more success just with a good socket set on it, Tyler. But just keep the downward thrust on it.
Yeah, I reckon just give them a bash and then...
Yeah, just give them a tap to
knock them loose.
Right, now we've undone the other end, so you should be able to lift that bar out. Yeah, that magnet tool was handy, wasn't it? If you've undone it enough.
Oh, you felt free.
Finished a little prematurely there, Tyler.
I could make lots of jokes.
I think people get used to my innuendos. Right, and there we go. So that is what you've got. There we go. That is and it comes with a little thin washer. Yeah, you keep still. I'll move the camera up. There you go. And then if you lift that bar out now, so sometimes you've got to twist the bar a little bit to get it out, Tyler. Just you have to go one side, have to go forward, and the other side back. That's it. To get it out the channel, and then we can see there. That's the and they're supposed to have these little guide pegs to help you catch the nut. And then what you've got then is you've got in the channel there. You can see Tyler's coloured it in. You've got that little nut, and he slides backwards and forwards. So when you put the new one on, you've got to make sure you catch it. So do you want to grab a spacer, Tyler, and one of the longer bolts? Right, so Tyler's grabbed me the spacer, and there should be an L on the spacer. There you go. Julian's hitting it on the end, which is good. And likewise, an R for right. So we're going left, aren't we, Tyler?
Yeah, if you're driving.
And then, that's it. Yeah, so you grab that. You've got your longer bolt. And then the trick. But you can't put your younger bolt in yet. You could. That's how it's sitting. Now, you've got to sort of look through. Now, you could. So there is the catcher on here. So you can... That little catcher there, you can slide it like that until it catches the nut. So it should come along and catch the nut, which should align it in the right place, he says. All right. Okay, you rest that on there. You rest that on my arm. And line it up.
The trick is on it.
Little rest on the top there. All right, you got your bolt. So this is the only other slightly tricky bit, is you've got to pass through those, you've got to line all three bits up together. But as I say, that little catcher we put on should help it.
I always just shove it back one and then...
Oh yeah, you've got to get through that one. Sometimes you've got to thread them through the spacer a bit, haven't you? That's gone down pretty quick.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, you're in.
I'll leave them a bit loose.
Yeah, and then because we've got to get them level, yeah. So you can see, Tyler's demonstrating, you can slide that there. Do you want to have a look at that from your angle, Tyler, just so you can see what the spacer looks like? You can see there.
It's just a blank cap, really.
It's just a blank cap, and It rests against the inside there. Right, we'll get the other side on, and then, in fact, we'll get them all on now. We've shown you how to do one.
Yeah.
You don't need to see how the others. We'll get all four, and we'll get these two jacked up, and then we'll come and try again with the Thule roof box. Right, all four spacers are bolted and tightened down. You can see now we've got these two bars that sit up neatly. We've got the cover. I was just wondering whether there's the possibility of some wind noise blowing through here, when you might get a sort of effect, because normally the end of that is hidden. So if you do encounter some wind noise or are so concerned, you could just put a little bit of tape over that. It'll neaten things up anyway, I think. No. So there's an option. The other thing I wanted to mention was, obviously the original bolts were thread locked in, and it's always a good idea to thread lock the new bolts in, particularly if you're going for a long distance drive or you're going to plan to leave these on here for an extended period. I don't know if there'll be some improvement or degradation in wind noise, because obviously these now are sitting up above the, I don't know if it will create a strange harmonic, but even if it is, you can lower them down again unless you've got your roof box on, and if you've got your roof box on, I think that'll change the whole thing anyway. So we're not going to do a full noise and vibration study on it. Right, we're ready to lift that on, aren't we, Tyler? Right, so let's open the clamp and let's fit these. I don't know when you get these whether they're pre-fitted or not, but you've got these little bits here, and you've got this little sliding bit in here. You can see it moving. You've got to open the clamp because it's got to go over that central bridge. So there you go, it goes over that central bridge. And then you've just got to locate these in the little blocks. There you go. And then, ooh, there you go. And then it should hold it in. And if you need to release them, you just press that and lift that out. So we've now got all four clamps in, all ready to slide. Make sure they're opened up. And then we can... And then we should be ready to go on then. Right, let's go outside and get the car outside because we're struggling for roof space. Right, there we have it. That's all going to plan. You getting that tightened up there, Tyler?
Yeah, I don't know how tight they need to be.
That is a good question. How tight do they need to be?
What sort of sliding side are they?
Well, I think the whole clamps together onto the base. So yeah, Tyler was asking how tightly. I think do they click? They. So you tighten them to the, yeah, there's a click. That's clever, isn't it? There's a clicky mechanism on there. If you can reach them. Oh, the wind's picking up.
Yeah.
There you go. On that one, see if you can get that one. Tyler's arm is somewhat longer than mine. There we go. Right, put the roof box down, put the lid down, watch the wind, and let's have a look what she looks like. There you go. That's it. You've got a lock there. You have to slide that little lever back. I think everyone knows how to use a roof box. And that is it. That is our solution for clamping the Thule roof box. We'll put those spacers on the website. I'm convinced it's transmitting the force down onto the same captive nut, and you're clamping on two bars, so it's using the original clamping points. So I think that's perfectly good. Obviously don't exceed the maximum loads of either the roof box or the roof rack, because the roof rack does have a weight limit as well. But that's our solution. And I think in some ways it's better because the weight in the box is spread across multiple bars. Although the upward thrust is only on the two, the downward weight is spread across all the bars. So that's our solution.